Under the neon chaos of the Las Vegas Strip, Formula One delivered one of the wildest plot twists of the 2025 season. Max Verstappen dominated from the very first corner. Lando Norris stumbled. Oscar Piastri collapsed under pressure, and Mercedes nearly caused a late race upset. But long after the fireworks died down, something far bigger began to unravel behind the scenes. Something serious enough that the FIA marched directly into the McLaren garage as the world watched in disbelief. Suddenly, what looked like a routine 1-2 fight between Verstappen and Norris had spiraled into a potential disqualification and a possible reshuffling of the championship table. Because moments after Norris limped across the line with failing fuel pressure, race control launched a new investigation, one that could end with Norris being stripped of his second place. And today, we finally know why. What wasn't shown on broadcast cameras, what wasn't explained on team radio, and what nobody realized during the race is now being exposed. What started as a straightforward championship showdown between Norris, Verstappen, and Piastri instantly detonated the moment the lights went out. And right at the heart of the chaos was a single, desperate lunge from Lando Norris, one that set off a chain reaction that could define, or even destroy, his title bid. Into turn one, Norris launched the kind of move that only a driver with everything to lose would dare attempt. He snapped across Verstappen's line, braked impossibly late, and tried to bully the Red Bull out of the apex. But instead of securing control, Norris went too deep, slipped wide, and gifted Verstappen the inside line. From that moment, Verstappen took command of the race. He didn't just lead, he dictated the tempo with ruthless precision, responding instantly to every McLaren push. The second he was told Norris was coming, Verstappen hammered in qualifying-style laps. It was a master at work, sending a message not just to Norris, but to the entire paddock. If there's a title fight, he's not backing down. Behind the leaders, Oscar Piastri's nightmare unfolded almost immediately. Wheel-to-wheel contact with Liam, Lawson dropped him backward. And although Lawson later suffered front wing damage, the tap may have left Piastri with subtle but costly performance issues. Because from that point onward, something about the Australian's pace just didn't add up. Even with fresher tires, even with clean air, even with the McLaren's typical long-run strength, Piastri couldn't break deeper into the top four. And when he got stuck behind rookie Kimi Antonelli, the confusion grew. Antonelli was on ancient hard tires, 48 laps into a heroic one-stop gamble. Yet somehow Piastri couldn't get within DRS. This is where theories started spreading like wildfire. On the same day Norris was breezing past Russell with ease, Piastri couldn't make a single meaningful attempt on a far slower car. It didn't help that Zach Brown was seen laughing and chatting warmly with Norris before the race. Fuel for fans already whispering that McLaren's internal energy seems strangely one-sided. Is it setup differences? Driving style? A quiet shift towards supporting Norris as their best chance for the driver's title? No one can say. But in F1, doubt spreads quickly. Especially when a title contender suddenly loses form, the chaos didn't end on lap 1. It migrated into the pits, where strategy became a gamble. Verstappen's stop was smooth. Russell's undercut was sharp, but McLaren's calls for Piastri and Norris diverged. One stop or two stop? Hard tires or mediums? For Piastri, the timing looked too reactive, too cautious. For Norris, the call came with razor-thin margins, especially on fuel, and that's where the real bombshell of the night emerged. Norris began dropping pace rapidly in the final laps, his McLaren limping toward the finish line. At first, everyone assumed tire degradation, but then the truth surfaced. Low fuel. Critically low, so low that as soon as Norris crossed the line, FIA officials marched straight into the McLaren garage to extract a mandatory 1-liter sample. If they can't get that sample, even if it's short by a few milliliters, the rule is the same. Automatic disqualification. We've seen this exact scenario before. In 2021, Lewis Hamilton lost a pole position. Earlier this season, Ferrari suffered a double DQ for plank wear. The FIA has no wiggle room on fuel rules. If McLaren pushed their strategy too aggressively, Norris's entire second-place finish could be wiped out. And the timing couldn't be worse. With only 2 races left, Qatar and Abu Dhabi, the championship is hanging by a thread. Disqualifying Norris flips the standings, breathes life back into Piastri's campaign, and throws Verstappen directly into the hunt. Once again, Vegas proved it's a circuit where the smallest error, the slightest lapse in communication, can have massive consequences. It's a track where visibility is tricky, braking zones are unforgiving, and the street circuit atmosphere amplifies every risk. Even the stewards themselves weren't immune. struggling to keep control as multiple incidents overlapped. Investigations piled up, and radio channels filled with frantic messages. But the strangest puzzle remains Antonelli, the rookie who defended like a seasoned world champion. He held off two world-class drivers on tires that, by lap count alone, should have been completely destroyed. His hard tires were deep into the no-grip zone, practically begging to give up, yet somehow he kept the car stable, sharp, and incredibly difficult to pass. His defensive lines were precise, his exits were clean, and his confidence looked unshakable. Piastri, usually one of the paddock's most calculated and clinical drivers, simply couldn't get close. Lap after lap, he inched forward, only to hit a wall of turbulent air. The McLaren twitched, slid, and refused to bite into the corners the way it normally does. Was it dirty air ruining the front end? Was it tire warm-up issues from the earlier stints finally haunting him at the worst possible moment? Or was there genuinely an underlying mechanical or aerodynamic issue with the McLaren that wasn't caught in the data during the race? The paddock started whispering,